Welcome to Mafunani's Cooking, where we learn to cook, cook to learn, and love to eat. Bahlali, I have a special video for you today, and it's for those of us who still do not know how to make i-dombolo, steamed bread. Hey, you know yourselves. Listen, there's a lovely lady called Tato, and she is going to walk us through the recipe because we had to find someone to assist. Usisithiyeka kwazi ukwenza idombolo cabanga nje.
Hey sisters, so I'm gonna let you in on how I make my favorite ledombolo or steam bread recipe. And you're gonna need 1 packet of yeast or 10 grams. That packet that usually comes already pre-measured. You're gonna need one of those. 2 cups of warm milk, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 6 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, a third of a cup of sugar. Now this you can reduce to your liking. You're gonna need 85 ml of water and 125 grams of butter or margarine, which is optional, but I really recommend it because wow, luxury, right? So you're gonna first have to ferment your yeast. That's what I do normally. In my language, it's tomoso. It's a tomoso. So you basically add your 2 cups of warm milk in a small container or a measuring jug, and then you're gonna add your yeast and your 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then you're gonna set that aside to ferment for about 5 to 8 minutes, but not letting it over bubble. Otherwise your mixture will just smell and taste sour. Remember, you want to ferment it to activate it, and you're still gonna knead it into the dough and gonna let it rise in the sun or in a warm place so you can see that it's too much fermentation. It will be sour, smell sour, and yeah. And then while that mixture is aside, you're gonna take your mixing bowl. You're gonna sift your 6 cups of flour. Sifting is also optional, but I recommend it as well because it gives it a fluffy texture, very airy and light, not very dense like normal bread, And you sift your 6 cups of flour, you add your salt, your sugar, and you mix that all together. Now, but I think by the time you're done mixing all that together, the yeast mixture would be quarter to ready. Once it forms just like a little foam, it's ready. Don't let it rise in size or stuff like that, unless you're really going for a sour taste in your bread. And then you're gonna pour the milk mixture into your flour, and you're gonna mix. You can add the addition if you want to add like robot peppers. You want to add your fresh parsley just for color. You can add those. Carrots, if you grate them or you just chop them up into cubes, you can add them as well. Then you add your milk mixture. You need your dough. The 85 ml of water is for if you feel that your dough is dry. So usually, sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. Yeah, the signs of baking. So if your dough is really dry, please add the 85 ml of water just to get a better stiff, kind of firm consistency, because you don't want it to be too sticky, because you're still gonna add butter. If you add butter, it's still gonna be soft. So if you're gonna go for a sticky dough, then it will be a little bit difficult to incorporate the butter, because so after you combine your ingredients, knead the dough for about 6 to 10 minutes, preferably up to 10 minutes, just kneading and kneading and kneading to develop the gluten. You don't add the butter, right, or the margarine. So you knead your dough until it is smooth in texture, and it's very springy or bouncy when you insert your finger into it. Then once it gets to the stage, you know that your gluten strands have developed, and yeah, then you can add your margarine or butter. You want to add butter after you've developed the gluten, because fat inhibits the formation of gluten, right? So you want the gluten to develop without any inhibitions. That's why you add the fat at the end after you've developed the gluten in the dough. So now you're gonna knead in your soft butter. Just keep kneading it. The dough will seem like it's tearing apart, it's not working out, but you just gotta be patient and knead the butter into it, right? So you just keep on kneading and kneading until it's very soft. The butter will give it a very silky cotton kind of texture that you're going for. Then when you get to the stage, you're gonna just smear some oil in a bowl, put your dough in there, and cover it and let it rise in a warm place. The other tip is that if the bowl that you're using can fit inside the microwave, just put on your microwave for 1 minute without anything in it. You want it to be warm, so you put your microwave on high heat for 1 minute, then you quickly open it and put your dough ball in there and close, and check it after 20 to 25 minutes. Then the dough should have probably doubled in size. Then you can decide whether you want to use my method of making the steam bread in the oven, or the traditional way where you do it on the stove top, where you get some water boiling. And usually when I'm home, we'd use a ceramic bowl. So you put all the dough in that ceramic bowl, and then in the big pot you would place some bricks, so that the language is gone now, so that the ceramic bowl can have a stand to sit on, so that it doesn't float on the water and the water does not get into the bread, because now it will be soggy and you lose the kind of fluffiness of the bread. So the other thing is that if you have a wire rack that can fit into your pot, then you put your wire rack in there, then you place the ceramic dish in there, and then you close the pot. Now the other trick that my dad taught me is that while you're cooking the steam bread, to get that fluffy risen volume, don't keep opening the pot. Just set your heat, the correct heat that you want to use, and set a time. Maybe you will open the pot once in each hour. If you're gonna cook it for like an hour or 2 hours or 45 minutes, don't frequently go and open the pot. Just like baking, when you're baking, you don't frequently go and open the oven. So same thing. So you can use ramekins, you can use coffee mugs, and just place them in the pot, so, and keep boiling. Just make sure that the water is enough so that it doesn't dry out, but it's not too much so that it doesn't overboil and mistakenly get into the steam bread, because it's gonna go soggy, right? So yeah, my way is that I love doing it in the oven, where I just grease my muffin pan and just push some little balls into the muffin pan. Then I place my boiling water that I just put with the kettle, if you have a deep pan, or better yet, if you have a chefing dish, those deep chefing dishes, then you can place your boiling water in the pan or the chefing dish. Then you put your muffin pan inside of that pan, then you cover. If you're using a chefing dish, obviously it has its own lid, so you don't have to use foil. So you just close with the lid and place in the oven to cook for 45 minutes. Just make sure the water is enough for it not to dry out, to keep boiling in the oven and create that steam that you want to steam the bread with and circulate through, but also not too much that it also goes inside, touches or bubbles, and it splits on the steam bread, right? so I don't have a serving dish. Usually I just use my deep pan. I put some boiling water, and then I add my muffin pan, and I cover it with a foil. Now the way you cover it with your foil is just you want to give space for the bread to rise, right? So you want to create a little dome with your foil so that when the dough rises it doesn't touch the foil, because if it touches the foil then it will sort of, it's like it starts browning. Basically it will start browning, which is not a train smash for me, because I feel like it's the easiest way to do it. So yeah, 45 minutes in the oven and about an hour on the stove top, then it's fine. Just put in a skewer or a knife to see if it comes out clean. Then yeah, you're ready to enjoy.
Thank you so much for that calm delivery, Ostato. Please head on to Wanna Cook, do subscribe, and do take care.